Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 72 of the Austin Downbeat. I'm Kat, your host. Thank you so much for joining me and hanging in there and watching all my shows and supporting and following and subscribing. I really appreciate it. We are coming into our second week, headed toward the next weekend of ACL Festival. Week one is in the books and so many great moments for that. So I hope some of you out there enjoyed that. Maybe some of you are going to head out to weekend too. So there's tons of music happening there. Just go to the ACL website and Instagram page and follow for that so that you can see who's playing. On top of ACL, I have a rundown of just a few people that are playing this coming week. This covers October 10th through the 16th. And I'm going to start with my girl, Katrina Kane, is doing a show at the Saxon Pub on the 10th at 10 o'clock. On the 11th, you have Katie Topin at Far Out Lounge. West Texas Exiles are going to be at the Continental Club. On the 12th, you have Boer at the Mohawk, and he's playing with trumpeter Swan, and St. Loretto will be opening up for him. He's putting out a 7-inch vinyl. So if you go to that show, you get to buy one, limited supply. And just a little birdie tells me that he's going to be on the show in a couple weeks. So look for that. On the 13th, Madame Radar is doing a single release at the Saxon Pub. They have a new single coming out. They were on the show last week, so they're super fun. On the 14th, Pat Byrne will be at the Hill Country Galleria. I saw Kelly McWee there this last weekend. So Pat's going to be there this coming, and it's a great show. Bring a blanket, bring some wine and a snack, let your kids run around. That's fun. Also on the 14th, Andrea McGee is going to be at Four Sisters Ranch, and Restos is at Peggy's Porch Party. That's a great show as well at Peggy's place. On the 15th, you have the Resentments doing their Sunday night gig at the Saxon Pub. And last but not least, your Monday night residencies. On the 16th, you have Brian Wolf at the Driscoll Hotel. You have Bob Schneider at Saxon Pub. And then you have Monday Night Supper Club at El Mercado South. That does it for your weekly rundown. My guest tonight, or today, depending on when you're watching. So I had a fan write in, his name is Darren, and he asked for this guest to be on. And then lo and behold, I got a great introduction to Van Wilks, and he came on. So Darren, this one is for you. as well as for everyone else. Van Wilks is my guest this week. Deeply accomplished, deeply beloved Austin musician and all around sweet, sweet guy. Van talks about how he started. He walks us through all the fads in this town that he quote unquote survived. But overall, he gives a message of such positivity. And I think if you are a musician, you should watch this episode, just because he has the unique perspective of having a real lasting power, a staying power, and a really consistent reputation, consistent just career. The stages he's been on have been like mind-blowing, all over the world with some really insane bands. So he gives such a great perspective, and it's one that I want any musician out there to hear. And the basis of all of it is to, at the end of the day, make sure that you're still having fun. And I couldn't agree with that more. I apply that to myself in what I do every day and every week here. So still having fun, still doing it. And that's what matters, no matter what you do. So anyway, I'm going to let you have him and see it. So without further ado, please welcome my new friend and BFF, you'll see, Van Wilks. Van Wilks, welcome to the show. So happy to have you on.
Well, I could turn that right around and say I'm proud and humbled and happy to be with you tonight. Even though we're digitally together. This is wonderful.
I feel like we've had enough phone calls and text messages and practice sessions that we're BFFs forever, aren't we?
I would hope so. I like to say I teach guitar lessons, so there's always little teenage girls and oh my BFF. But then when Facebook hit so big, now it's BFBFF, best Facebook friends forever. So
right.
You learn a lot from the youth of America.
The youths. The youths. I am honored to have you on. I like to think of people, no matter what their status. I've been around celebrities and people that have done things that the whole world knows about before. And I like to think that we're all the same, and we are, at the end of the day, we're all the same. Well, pretty much. But when I look at the breadth of work and the depth of work and the stages you've been on, and also just getting a little glimpse of your personality and your kind of way, and it's so wonderful.
I have a way.
You're genuinely kind and sweet and nice, and the longevity of your career and reputation being what it is, I truly am in awe of that. It's hard for me not to be like kind of just struck by that, because life is hard and life is beautiful and it's a lot of things. My first question to you is just sort of like, do you think about where you are now and just like do you know how awesome you are? It's a general question. Do you?
No, I don't. I do know that my tape machine just stopped. And I'm hearing a strange noise.
It didn't want to be the background for us.
I'm so
that's okay.
Oh, gosh, right in the middle of everything. Okay, I don't know if you want to edit that out or what.
Nope,
but
we're gonna keep going.
Okay. My little girl tape machine back there, bought her in like 75, so I'm surprised she's still going. Okay, so your question.
Yeah, I was just saying, I think that you're kind of one of the special ones. And do you know that? Do you feel that?
I think if somebody thinks they are, then they're not.
Right.
Yeah. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just proud to do what I do, and if I do have a little bit of notoriety, all the better. If I didn't, I would still love playing guitar.
Awesome.
And that's what I think is a problem with some people. Here's how I look at it. You start out having fun. Like the Beatles hit 64. What are you going to do? I'm too skinny to play football, because in Lubbock and Brownwood, Texas, if you weren't a football player, get out of town, or yeah. The Beatles hit, and everybody I knew we just picked up guitars. Wow. And we were horrible, but it didn't matter, because that one thing I'm going to always come back to, we were having fun. And that would apply to anything you do. If you don't have fun doing it, then stop. Yeah. So you get into this because it's fun. Then it becomes an obsession. Then if you're good enough or lucky enough, which has a lot to do with it, it becomes a business. And therein lies the pratfalls, the problems. When the business goes south, and if you don't have those gold records on the wall, which I don't, you sometimes lose sight of that joy and that magic of just, wow, I just played this lick and it sounds kind of like it. It'll never be like Jimi Hendrix or like the Beatles, but it's, somebody recognized it. So when the music part of it, the business part of it goes south, I've seen so many people just give it up. And if I ever lose sight of that, I will be a sad person. Or mainly I could say 60 years of, like 60, almost. I'm 72 and I'm proud of it. All those years of doing it would have been for nothing.
Right.
So I want to always keep in mind, and I don't want this to sound too dramatic, but just have fun what you're doing with, just have a good time. Even if you're not impressing the critics and the club owners and the agents and the,
Yeah.
trying to impress the girls though. I mean, that's stupid, but just hope that somebody out there grabs onto what you do and goes, yeah, that's kind of cool. I see. We have a joke when we're in the studio. If it's not going so well, the engineer or the producer will say, I appreciate what you're trying to do. That sucks. So we just want to make a go of it. I can say with my career, especially in Austin, Texas, I've been fortunate to play all over the world: India, Corsica, France, all of Europe, most of Europe, Russia, Moscow. I mean,
wow.
Been very fortunate. But I can say, as it pertains to Austin, being the so-called live music capital of the world, which every musician I know can't stand that moniker.
Yeah.
I have survived the fads because there have been. And I'm not knocking anything, because I actually love all kinds of music. I embrace it and I play it when I'm at home. As a musician, you want to have your own thing, but my gosh, if you don't appreciate other forms of music that you don't play, and that doesn't mean you have to buy it, just appreciate it. So in 71 and 2, we were a 3-piece hard rock trio, power trio, I guess you might call it, blues rock, Texas blues rock. 73 and 4, Tommy Shannon joined up with us. He had just left Johnny Winter. This is Tommy Shannon, who was Double Trouble with Stevie Ray Vaughan. So my good fortune was to be with Tommy way before he joined Stevie. And we survived, the fads at the time, which was, I think, first was the Cosmic Cowboy Scare, we called it.
What's that?
Well, the Cosmic Cowboy thing came in really heavy, which I love all those guys. Jerry Jeff Walker.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Murphy. I mean, it was a great movement. It just kind of took over. It was the cool thing. So we were still locked into what we do, which is what I think any musician should do. Steal from get pieces from other stuff, but still be true to what you really do. And we were selling out the Armadillo and Mother Earth, and it was just magical times. Mother Earth was on Lamar, next to the original Straight Music, and it's Goodwill Golden Moments or something. They have a special Goodwill now, and it's the good Goodwill on Lamar. And it was also the first Whole Foods, but before that it was Mother Earth. Lighted dance floor.
Oh, wow.
A pretty hard rock club. And we play 6 nights a week. We would make maybe $600 for that week. I just met for coffee with Tommy Shannon a little bit ago, and I have kept the same band calendars from 71 and 2 till now. So I can maybe, am I a hoarder? I don't know, but I love it. I can look back, I can chronicle and see what we made in every gig back then.
Wow.
It's quite fascinating. And so we played Mother Earth and the Armadillo, and that was the biggest deal of all, to play the Armadillo. And people now don't have a clue what that was, but it taught young musicians how to get on a big stage and put on a show. Like they'd have free Wednesdays, and we'd play, and there'd be 1,000 people there, of course, because it was free.
Yeah.
But it showed us, I mean, we learned how to get a backdrop and bring down the house lights and bring the backdrop down. I mean, it sounds silly now, but we were learning how to, I guess, basically not fall down. on the big stage.
Yeah.
And I miss the opportunity for maybe younger bands to maybe not have that kind of place where they could go and learn and do a show instead of just getting up and we're gonna take a break now and tip your waitresses. I mean,
yeah.
My tape recorder stopped again, and I'm gonna go click it one time and it again. I'm gonna put her to sleep.
Yeah, she might be tired.
Oh, she's tired after 75. There we go. Okay. How embarrassing. Being in bands all these years, there's always something technical that gets in the way of the art. Because we've just witnessed just now.
Yeah.
And she stops again.
She's not having it.
Turn her off. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no idea where we were.
We're talking about
about Austin in the 70s.
Yeah, the
and
70s.
these certain fads. So I know what I was saying.
Yeah.
First, the Cosmic Cowboy Scare, which was I'm joking about the scare part. It was, man, those guys were incredible. We were just a different clique of music. Then I can't tell you the years, but first we stuck to our guns about what we were playing, the style of music. Cosmic Cowboy came in, hurt us bad because people gravitated towards that. And then disco hit 77, 78, and my God, of course I immediately went out and bought a yellow suit and so disco hit, and that didn't really help any live music kind of band,
right?
But we stuck to what we did and still do. And then around 79, punk rock hit. And I was surprised that you didn't have to be able to play. But I was smart enough to realize how raw and basic and powerful it was. And I embraced it. And I started writing simpler, just in your face songs, not trying to copy that because I didn't have the look.
Right.
And I mean, all these fads that I'm talking about are, let me rephrase that, styles of music. They weren't fads. Totally legitimate, totally good. Everybody in whatever genre that was, those 3 periods of time, were great musicians. Punk rock just showed all these pretentious bands, maybe like us, that you could just get up there and go nuts and blow and do it. So I have several friends and pretty major bands that benefited from that once they realized they better get on the bandwagon and not change your whole style. You should never change what you do just because don't take a left turn just because everybody's turning left, but adapt. An incredible example for the disco period was the Rolling Stones doing Miss You.
Yeah.
That's that 98 beats per second or 100, I forgot what it is, but they adapted the Rolling Stones to what was going on at the time.
Yeah.
Our good friend ZZ Top certainly did the same thing. And see where it got them. In fact, I just returned from Nashville yesterday, being fortunate to be a part of BMI, which is Broadcast Music. It's the Performing Rights Society that a lot of us are signed to as writers. They presented him with a Troubadour Award, and they had me do a congratulatory video. I didn't get on stage. The people on stage were Keith Urban, Chris Isaac. One I really loved was X's and O's.
Elle King.
Elle King.
She's great.
I forgot which ZZ song she did, but they each did a ZZ song. Keith Urban did Rough Boy. Robert Earl Keen did LaGrange. Just a tribute.
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. So I was proud to be a part of that because Clapton was on the video and Jimmy Vaughn and myself. And but it's a testament to what I alluded to earlier: surviving the fads, keeping true to what you really do in your heart, but just adapting to stay current and valid, but not just changing your whole sound just to say, oh, they're doing that, we better do that.
Yeah, I think people really respond to authenticity, at its core. And I think musicians, I think that's good advice for musicians at various stages of their career at this moment. It's like, it's interesting when someone does something a little bit different, but it has to also be authentic to who they are. It can't come across as gratuitous or pandering.
Yeah, people will know. People
Yeah.
will see that right off.
Yeah.
I started to make a joke like, well, maybe you get to some point in your career that, okay, I'm going to pander now and see if that works. I am going to, no, I did it already, didn't I? I hate to see her stop like that. It's sad. But I don't want to keep getting up.
You, speaking of awards, were indicted into the Texas Music Hall of Fame. Inducted.
Look, I haven't been indicted yet, but I love your play on words.
Yes, yes.
Now, Trump was indicted.
A couple times. Let's not go there.
So far, I haven't been indicted, but inducted. Yeah.
Inducted in the Texas Music Hall of Fame. Talk about that experience, what that meant to you.
Well, it was, the Austin Chronicle has been around for a long time. And the funny irony is I've never been quite cool enough. They've never done a story on me at all. But let me look at my plaque. We're in my little studio right now, if you don't know, and there's a plaque on the wall for, let's see, we won Band of the Year in '76 when Tommy was with me, but that was the Austin Sun. Then the Sun went down and the Austin Chronicle started in, I guess, '77. And we were the first indicted artists in their Hall of Fame.
I'm never going to live that down.
Oh, I love it. I love your way with words.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh, so yeah, we were, maybe they didn't have anybody else to put in, but it was an honor. There was no ticker tape parade or key to Walmart or free Golden Corral chocolate.
And still nothing.
But you know what it does for a musician? It helps. Like overseas, which we played in Europe since '95 or so. It legitimizes you. Like, the word Austin legitimizes you.
Does it really? It has a lot of power.
Yes. If you said, or if I said, I'm from Indiana, not to knock Indiana, because quick side story. I was speaking in front of some members of the Senate because a friend of mine wanted to get a Texas musical museum going. So he got Eric Johnson, myself, Gary P. Nunn, some notable people, to just try to legitimize why it would be wonderful if the state of Texas did a Texas museum. And I said, well, and what I just said, we had the good fortune to play in Europe a lot. And it's because of the Texas connection, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
And I said, if I was from Indiana, I don't think it would carry the weight. And a woman on the dais said, I'm from Indiana. And I went, well, I bet my voice went up. Well, yeah, Indiana's great. I just probably started talking really fast. And I'm sticking to it. I mean, like if you're from Memphis or Nashville or Austin, those cities are built on music.
Yeah.
So
And music is what, as cliche as it is what connects us all. It is that
it does.
universal, I mean, language. And
It does. I think I can speak for everyone on this planet that think back to high school and the cheerleader dumped you, which happened to me.
oh no.
And I can hear a song from that time,
Mm-hmm.
66, 7 or 8, and still love the song, but I don't want to hear it because it takes me right back to what was happening in my life. And
Mm-hmm.
therein lies the power of music. There's
I
just
have I
no
have
doubt.
I know. I have a couple teenagers and we'll be in the car and some music has kind of cycled back around, as it does sometimes. And they'll play something and they think it's new. And I'm like, honey, I used to dance to this in junior high. Like, are you kidding me right now? They're hearing it for the first time and it comes back around and I am back and I'm car dancing and embarrassing them. And,
Car dancing, I like.
yes, of course.
I, I can speak for people my age. I save everything. And I found a box the other day that had a set list, song list, 2 of them for my band in 65. When we were just little kids, we'd in Lubbock, Texas, walk down the alley to the next guy's house and play or try to play. I don't know, but the the songs on this list are incredibly phenomenal because it's like the Kinks, the Beatles, what they have built industries around called classic rock radio.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same songs 55 years ago, maybe longer. Oh my gosh. My math is not good. That are valid and as powerful now as they were then. And that to me is a testament to my generation. And I would never be so flippant and just blow off stuff. But I wonder 50 years from now, is what's on the radio going to be? Is there going to be a whole industry built around whatever's happening now? I hope there is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but it just vindicated me in a way to see this set list. And I even wrote the date on it, 65. We were called the Palisades or something. And of course, we never played a gig, but we were in our living rooms just banging it out, going, "Oh, do you know E minor?" Yeah, well, a little bit.
So you
I
don't
mean,
even have your calluses yet.
you got to earn those.
Yeah, yeah, that
But
takes
it
time.
really hit quite heavy. It wasn't a past life regression or anything like that. It was just like, wow, these song titles, they're and being part of this Billy Gibbons tribute, that was 50. LaGrange was 50 years ago, 73.
Wow.
And it still is, it's bigger then than it was now.
Yeah, yeah.
So and you know what I like about Billy being my friend is his band didn't turn into a parody.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of the metal bands, I think are a kind of
Yeah.
a parody of themselves. And
Yeah, they didn't. You're right. They stayed real straight. I remember when the video for Legs came on MTV, and I just thought that that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And I was like, that's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. This is the best music I've ever seen. Those guys are so cool. Like
you
MTV.
hear what you just said. If I may interrupt, you said the
Yeah.
most beautiful. What that was brilliant about their videos, they never featured themselves.
Mm-hmm.
In Legs, Sharp Dressed Man, all of them, they were in the background as these
Mm-hmm.
mystical,
Yeah.
because that was kind of the end of the punk rock era,
Right.
82
Yeah.
and 3, 83. So they were not cool. They had beards.
I thought they were.
Well, I mean, to the
Yeah.
To a record company, let's put it that way.
Right.
So and MTV happened just at that time. So for any musician that we might be reaching with this, there's some serendipitous luck that we can't count on happening. We can't control it. We don't have all we have to do is be true to what we do and continue on and try to survive the fads. That's probably the theme of this whole thing.
And take advantage of them too, pull from them, survive them, but also, take advantage for what's going on and pay attention to what's going on around us and what people are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
MTV. I
MTV.
don't care to pay attention to, though. I mean, it doesn't move me.
True. But I do think that it deserves attention when we notice what people are responding to and just ask questions why. It's just a good exercise to kind of zoom out a little bit and get some perspective. I like to do that.
Great way to put it. And it's a wonderful exercise in humility to see that this music you don't get at all is making millions and you're still sitting here doing, well, but it's okay. I've always had this, not always, when I was younger, I didn't have this little thing in my head, but now I go, well, I'm just gonna ease into this music business thing. After 50 something years, I'm gonna ease in. I'm not sure if I really want to do it. I'm gonna look at other bands out there and see what they're doing and see if I really want to do it. And then I go, wait a minute, I have been doing it for 55 years. But you've got to laugh at yourself or you're gonna jump off a roof. Hopefully a low roof.
We're learning so much. If you're going to jump off a roof, jump off a low roof.
Right. Yeah. If I can impart anything to musicians that are sad or bitter because they haven't gone to where they want to be, and they make it a low roof like that.
And get yourself indicted into the Texas Music.
Indicted. Yeah.
There you go.
The Cat and I will be there for you with a net.
We will.
You know what? I think musicians have always worked without a net. We've taken those chances and just jumped into the fire, and sometimes got burned. Many times got burned. There's this lotion you can put on you once you get burned and just jump right back in.
Yeah. Because you kind of have to do it when it's your passion, when it's coming from a deeper place in you. You kind of have no choice. I mean, you have to do it. I'm not a musician, but I'm a creative, and I have to create. Something has to come out of me all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I'd go nuts if I wasn't writing or creating, or if I weren't doing the show. That's just how I'm built. I've been like that since I was a kid. I was a musician as a little kid and not anymore, but like some of us are just built for that. And I think even if the adventure isn't always fun, we still have to keep the faucet on. That's how I like to see it.
Love that. I love the way you couched that. And I love the fact that there's so many different kinds of creativity.
Yeah.
Be an idiot guitar player, a writer, somebody that can write books. That's what I kind of really wish I could do.
You should write a book, given all the amazing stages you have been on. Can I just give like a tiny little rundown of some of the stages you've been on? I mean,
you must.
Okay. ZZ Top, obviously you're friends with Billy. I mean, of course, you've been on that stage. Heart, you've played with Heart.
Yes, we did there in March of 1980. My first major label record came out. And we did about 15, 20 dates in different states with Heart. And I just found a little card signed by all of them. And they gave us flowers in Memphis the last night saying, Van, thanks for warming up the crowd and keeping them hot. And a little aside here, is that I wasn't a Crazy Heart fan at the time, but I didn't know we were going to be playing 16,000 seaters every night. I didn't know they were that big. And I
Oh,
will tell you this, I played with I've been the janitorial opening act for a lot of people. They treated me really good. And
yeah.
in those days, if you got a sound check, wow. If you got front lighting instead of back lighting, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And that's when we learned to get a backdrop behind the drummer to say Van Wilks.
Yeah.
Because if you get an announcer at all, and of course just coming into the hall and they're going to go, so
yeah, you might as well get a backdrop.
how can people at least know who we are? So we do little things like that.
Yeah.
But it was nice to be treated decently.
Yeah. How was Van Halen?
Okay, that is a misnomer. That's a
Oh,
mistake.
oh, okay.
Somebody said that once.
Okay.
And I met Eddie Van Halen at the NAMM show in New Orleans, and he was so drunk he had a box on his head. Hey, you look like a friend of mine. So that's I call it brush with greatness. That was my brush with greatness with Eddie. But no, we never played with them. And
Okay.
no.
All right. The internet's let us down. What about Journey? Is that true?
Yes. And they weren't nice to me. I will say that. They were
Really?
jerks. Yep,
Really?
yep.
It's a bummer.
And it's okay. That's just part of the deal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
because maybe they had a stomach ache. One of them had a stomach ache, or their girlfriend left them, or they missed their limo ride. I don't know.
You never know.
Aerosmith was okay. I mean, what's important about opening for all these people for so many years is that with the advent of Facebook and the internet, every day somebody will say, I saw you in 76 with. And whether I can remember the gig or not doesn't matter. It's the fact that that guy remembers us.
Yeah.
That means the world.
Yeah. That must.
Take that kind of stuff for granted. It's
Hmm.
wonderful. So yeah, but no Van Halen, just a box on his head in New Orleans. It was
Which
good enough
is
for
kind of
me.
even better.
Yeah. Oh God. I got a picture of me and him together. Yeah, he's looking at me like, you
Oh,
look
we
like.
think it's him.
I think he liked the van part.
Yeah. Yeah.
When we do play Europe, they go, "Oh, your name is Van Weeks, Van Wilks. You're Dutch or you're German." In Germany, they go Wan, because they can't get the V's. And I go, "No, Van is my first name, Wilks is my last name, but I don't care as long as they like our music. You can call me your mama if you want to. I mean, it doesn't matter."
That's what you shall be called by me from now on, your mama.
I'll always be indicted by you.
um so I have to tell you, someone wrote into the first time ever someone wrote to me and from a fan of this show and asked specifically that I interview you, which I thought was really cool.
Probably somebody up on my payroll.
I don't think it was. But then
No,
what was
I like that.
what was
For a
so
musician, go ahead.
yeah,
Then
yeah. Well, what I thought was cool was then like 2 weeks later, um, Eric Johnson was on my show, and then his manager Max introduced us, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay, universe, this is amazing." And you're welcome, Darren. Darren is the guy that wrote in, so Darren, this episode is for you.
Do you want to know the coolest thing in the world? Max Craze, Eric's manager now, was my drummer.
Was he really?
From 81 or so till 83 or 4. Yeah.
So cool.
He is a great drummer. Of course, he's a great photographer.
Yes.
Yeah, we played some big shows together. Yeah, so I didn't know if you knew that or not.
I didn't know that. I love those little tidbits.
After we got our deal, okay, at the time I was signed with the ZZ Top Company. And that's why we were touring with all these big people. Because I think the promoter would say, well, you give me ZZ Top. My manager, Bill Ham, would say, I want you to take Van Wilks. Well, if you'll give me ZZ Top. And that's how it works. That's,
Yeah.
So we do a lot of ZZ shows all over the country. That was the time, well, it started like 74 or 5 when we were actually young. And it was really cool to jump into a van with 6 guys and drive to Lewiston, Maine to play with Bachman Turner Overdrive or to play with Kiss in New Orleans. And we didn't think twice about how much money are we making? How are we going to pay our rent because we're gone?
Right.
We would just jump in a van, and that became a little term. Let's jump in a van and go play. And I love that freedom, that feeling. We blew off everything, anything and everything, just to go play. Now, we were playing nice little stadiums with people. We did a Bachman Turner Overdrive tour, and we played hockey arenas. And
cool.
I've never seen a hockey arena in my life. We were in Kalamazoo, Lewiston, Maine, Utica, New York. And you'd go in there in the afternoon, and of course, it's ice. And then these old Union, the East Coast, Union. And there'd be this 60-year-old guy, which is young to me now, but when you're 24, with a Black Sabbath t-shirt, and they'd start putting plywood on the ice, then chairs, and we'd do our sound check in this freezing. And our dressing rooms were the hockey players thing. We were kind of wild back then. So I remember borrowing a hockey stick and a referee jersey.
Nice.
I'm going to get back someday.
Yeah, you still have it probably.
But I mean, think of how crazy that is coming from Texas, and you're in hockey arenas.
Yeah.
It's like going to Russia, a totally different world. But you know what keeps everything together is the music.
Yeah.
Which, if I could divert a little bit, since I said Russia, there was a wonderful small chain of clubs in the around 95 and 6 called the Chesterfield Cafe. And there's been a good amount of Austin musicians that played there. And so they had one in Paris, and Madrid, and Moscow. So we did all 3 of them. And our first time in Paris was just over the top.
Yeah.
Madrid was cool, but Moscow was the weirdest. And why I'm bringing this up, because you're in a totally different world. And this was a huge club. Let's see if I can make this succinct and quick. We walk in there. We don't even go on stage till midnight. Go out and they're playing disco. And at that time, it was, "Do You Want to Be My Lover?" Spice Girls. Huge hit.
Yeah.
And I look out from behind the curtains, and it's just packed with these beautiful Russian women in fur coats, and I mean, I thought, so we get on stage at midnight. I look over at my band and go, "This is the Alamo. We're gonna die." I really thought that they're gonna just hate us.
Oh.
And so we started playing our Texas blues rock, and slowly, I was just terrified. And I would see them go, what the hell is this? But these clubs were known for bringing Texas musicians or American. They would only hire American musicians.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe they were prepared for it. Anyway, they slowly got into it and started dancing. And then these 5 metalhead Russian metal guys come up and stand in front of us going like this. And I go, I know what I'm going to do now. I said, "Come on up. Join us." They got on stage, and we did knocking on heaven's door. And the whole crowd, this thing that I actually hate. I can't stand this, but there's a term in politics called détente, where you, the French word for getting everybody together. And that was my détente. And it was wonderful. Those guys, you know, they were the prerequisite Russian metalheads, and we were just these Texas guys, you know. But it turned out to be good. You know, you adapt. Getting back to what we said earlier, you don't change what you do. You just jump in and adapt. And from then on, we were okay. And there was a contingent of the Moscow, the Marines that protect the American embassy in Moscow. And I saw them have a little trouble, and this guy does this. Anyway, they liked us, so they took us over to the embassy. And this was in February. My camera, I had a video camera, which by today's standards is big. No, it wasn't one of those. No, that was my boom.
I've had one of those.
But it froze. It froze.
Yeah.
Anyway, it just, I guess the point is, it proved the point of what you've said, what I've already said, is that music is music, and it can bring nation building. It can forget politics, which is very hard these days to just blow it off because it affects our lives.
Yeah.
But it can bring people together. And I was so glad that 3 guys from Texas could somehow relate for 10 nights in Moscow to these people.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, because first you're scared to death, you're going to die. And then, okay, because of music.
Yeah. Kind of like a movie. I mean, it's almost like a scene from a movie, you know? I can see it in my head of what you experienced. It's like that power kind of winning.
A scary movie, and we could have all died in the end.
You were safe.
So because of music. Music saved us.
That sense of freedom that you talked about a bit ago, of just jumping in a van, have you had that since?
Not like I did then, because I was young. I was in my early mid-20s.
Yeah.
Now it's become what I've started this whole conversation of, a business. But you know, when I do that, and we will do that in Europe in October. We're finally going back to Europe in October after COVID killed everything.
Yeah.
Not just for me, for everybody.
Yeah.
It cost us 3 European tours. And so we're going back, mostly France, October the 3rd or something. And I will be excited to get in a van.
I was going to say, you should call that little tour the Jump in the Van tour.
Oh, I'm going to. Van, jump in the van.
I love it.
Yes. And I'm glad you said that, because it's a lot of work, as anybody that's done this knows. It's not glamorous when you're not a rock star. It's incredibly, let me say, incredibly adventurous.
It's a good way to put it.
Calm down, open up, be ready for anything.
Surrender.
And just go for it. I used to, when we were first in Europe, playing bigger places, and but we'd still play, I don't want to call them villages, but smaller towns. Like this tour, we'll play Lyon, Toulouse.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. Oh gosh, I don't have the schedule in front of me, but
Nice.
Yes, Nice. Yes, we're headlining they like to call them Nuit de la Guitare, Night of the Guitar.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they do. And we're headlining that in Nice. So, you know, it would be nice to be playing Stade de France and Carcassonne and all these big places. But what I've found, and what I've learned to embrace, is that these smaller cities have these beautiful civic centers. They don't have a civic center, then they have this little club. And they're packed.
Right.
Because it's a smaller town.
Right.
and they embrace, they just want to go out. And
Yeah.
so I've come to find that I'm very happy playing, even a little village somewhere. And it's so beautiful. The promoter's mother might be cooking us dinner, and the French are so French. I don't know how they do it,
Mhm.
but you won't have the dinner will be served after your show, which might be midnight.
Midnight, and it'll be 3 hours long.
Yes, it's just all these people just blah 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 talking, and it's you get. I've learned about. I'm a Texan. I live in America, but my God, there's a whole world out there that I'm sorry that people don't want to get out of their house, don't know about it,
Yeah.
and not as a musician, but just
As
live
a
life,
human. Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing that in October. Uh, Come back in November and play the Saxon Pub again.
Yay. Love
Yeah,
Jackson.
I love that place.
I
Hang
do
out with
too.
people like Joe Abels. And wow, it's just and I could say he's survived the fads.
Hmm.
How many bars, live music places in this town have survived like that? I
Yeah.
first played the Saxon 30 years ago.
That's
Uh,
crazy.
uh, so it's not just musicians that keep things going. In fact, musicians don't keep things going at all. It's the infrastructure
Yeah.
that builds up and needs people like us and all the other wonderful musicians out there to play. But if it wasn't for these people that actually put their money on the table and
Hmm.
do it,
And stay, and stay.
longevity, surviving the fads, that's the title of everything.
Jump in
Uh,
the van and survive the fad.
oh, now that would be a good name
A
for a record.
t-shirt or something.
Yeah, the Jump in the Van tour. That's great because we're gonna have some shirts made before we go. And okay,
I love it. I want one.
you will definitely have one.
Yeah.
We are doing. I'm known for playing noisy Texas blues rock, Marshall stacks and Marshall amps and stuff. But I've just completed an acoustic album, which I'm really proud of.
Ooh,
We recorded it live at Threadgills, and now it's gone.
that's gone.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me started, but it's just ironic how everything that made Austin this worldwide known city
Yeah,
killed it.
it's bizarre.
Uh, they've done it. They've killed everything that it's these politician type people that like they offered all these grants and I would apply during the COVID thing and they nope, sorry. I said, oh, well, playing in music in Austin for 50 years doesn't mean
Yeah,
anything. Uh, oh, don't let's
yeah.
slide by that.
So
Uh,
many, so
so
many
yeah,
ways.
real proud of this acoustic CD with my buddy Josh Smith is playing with me. We live at Threadgills, and then there's a bunch of studio stuff that our buddies Christopher Cross and Eric Johnson let me use their studio. And
Mhm.
oh, there I go again. Paul McCartney told me
I
to
mean,
not drop names. Paul
let
McCartney
me
said,
just
don't
go
throw out
pick
names.
that name up.
Yeah,
Dropped it right here.
yeah. No, I love that joke. Paul McCartney said, "Don't drop. It's not cool to drop names." But I heard him say that, so that's why I use that. We've done some fun things like 3-4 years ago, I was asked to join the house band to play for the 5 living presidents when they did a benefit for Katrina and uh, at the A&M basketball stadium. It was well, who was alive? Let's see, the 2 Bushes,
Clinton.
Clinton, Carter, and Obama.
Mhm.
And there was one certain president they didn't really want to be there, so he did a video thing. I'm not kidding. That's what they said. But I had the honor to back up Sam from Sam and Dave and play Hold On, I'm Coming. The Allen Brothers, Robert O'Keefe, a lot of Love It. and Lady Gaga was there.
What was she like? Did you get to interact with her at all?
No, I learned her song here in this very studio. And then right that day, they said, nope, she's going to play solo. And so I'm on stage because we all had her. It was filmed. You can still see it on YouTube. You can go to, I don't know, the presidential benefit for Katrina. So it's still up on YouTube. And so I'm on stage because I still had my guitar there, ready to go, and she sat down at the piano. So all I saw was her back, and I started to take a picture, and this guy came and said, "No pictures." Well, I just want to take a picture of her butt. But no, she looked at me, but I didn't meet her. So no. Yeah. But we got to go into a little room and meet all 5 of them. And
really?
I shake thinking about it. First was Clinton. I said, "Are you going to join us tonight on the sax?" He said, "No, Hillary, too busy." Next was George Bush. He wouldn't stand up. Everybody else did, except HW. He was in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
He was on his way out. George Bush said, I said, "I'm a guitar player from Austin. I'm very proud to be here." And he said, "Well, aren't you special?" Just weird. But then Jimmy Carter was just a true, just like you would think, gentleman.
Yeah.
Like a president should be.
Yeah. Presidential. Yes.
And then Obama stood up and I started shaking. And I didn't really start shaking, but all I could say was, he looked me straight in the eye and said, "You are missed."
Yeah.
You are missed. And it was enough. And he just went, meaning, I know.
What a great thing to say. I wouldn't have known what words to pull, but I think that was beautifully said.
Yeah, it's like when you meet a rock star. "Hey, I got all your albums." Right. I mean, what do you say? But Obama, and I think I think I said a good thing to him because it was from my heart.
Yeah.
I did miss him from the bullshit that was going on at that time, embarrassing our country, but we'll leave it at that. And then, so we all had our certain songs to play. Mm-hmm. So get back on stage, play with Sam or something. And it was his 80th birthday. If you know Sam and Dave, Dave's gone, but Sam. Mm-hmm. And he had on this t-shirt that says, "I'm hearing those voices in my head again, and they don't like you." Baby, I just loved it. So, okay, so I go off stage very quickly to our little basketball dressing room, and then I hear this song that I've already rehearsed with them. There were 2 girls from not The View, though. What are those TV shows? Simon Cowell.
Like American Idol.
Yeah. Those. Well, they were country singers from that. And I went, "Oh God." So I have my guitar and I'm running, and this is backstage in an arena. You'd think it was big, but no, it's not. And all these people that are in front of me, and I'm trying to get on stage because they're filming this. And it was the Secret Service taking out all 5 living presidents at the same time. And I'm trying to get on stage, and my guitar just whacks Bill Clinton. Oh. And I expect to see the Secret Service going, "Swarm." So I thought,
take him down.
Yeah. He looked at me and went, "Hey, okay." I mean, he didn't say anything. And so I run up the stairs and they're gone. Anyway, that was an experience like talking about Moscow, or just something that we're fortunate and lucky enough to get to do, doing something that we started off as a kid. Now, once again, no gold records on the wall, but little things like that just make it like, wow, how did that happen?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that. 5, there will never be 5 living presidents in one room again. Yeah. Because of ages and politics. But these guys, I will say, I said I wouldn't bring up politics, but they threw all politics aside that night to help people. And that's what our government is supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it was when they brought Barbara Bush out, two Marines, and she's in this little, not a wheelchair, but two Marines in starch white shirts. 16,000 people lost their mind. And
Mm.
we are in, that's a red area of the country. But politics, it gave me some faith and hope again
Yeah.
in our country, because these guys raised so much money. No, it wasn't Katrina. It was the one after, whatever that.
I can't,
I don't know. I got it mixed up.
right.
But if any of your viewers want to check out uh, 5 living presidents do a benefit for the hurricane, I think if you just go on YouTube after they watch your show.
And after they check out your website, vanwilks.com, right? So they can see where you're touring and, read your bio, and there's lots on your website. You're really good at keeping that up.
I have a friend in England that has put that together for me, and
Okay, I take it back. You're not very good.
I'm
They
not
are.
good at I'm not good at updating my website. What I do more than anything is Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And all my friends, sometimes we really can't stand Facebook, but if you're a musician in Austin, Texas, how else are people going to know you? That you're playing somewhere, that you're
Yeah.
playing. Now,
Yeah.
I have such a fond memory of the Armadillo days, let's say 74, 5, 6, 7, 8, which the artist would draw these great posters, which you can't see back here, but Michael Priest, Sam Yates. Oh my God, these artists were so good, and their arts has stood the test of time.
Mm.
And so we were called Fools then, before we were called Van Wilks, which gives it a little reason to draw a funny poster.
Yeah.
Now, if you're in the music business and you're called Fools, okay. We would spend all night going up and down the drag, putting up posters for our gig, and they would be gone by the next day. And not because of the band so much, but because the art was so iconic and good. And to this day, they're still selling these posters. I've seen my posters on the web for $200-300, and I know they don't know it's me. It's the art, and I love that connection between music and art.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people are doing that again. Billy Perkins, one of the best artists of all, he did my 21st Century Blues album cover, which I'm so proud of. And he's done so much stuff. But there are younger artists that are doing this again. It's not a lost art.
No, it's not. I'm seeing it.
It's just like vinyl records are definitely coming back.
Definitely. Even my 13-year-old daughter is like, she wants her own record player, and we buy.
Let me show you this. This is pretty funny. It's not funny. It's just the way it was back then. Okay, 1967.
Oh yeah, I remember those things.
Was my Jimi Hendrix 4-track tape.
Yep.
Okay, let's move forward to 1980. The Van Wilks Bombay Tears first album on 8-track tape.
I remember my grandmother's Cadillac had an 8-track player in it. Yeah.
I'm so proud of this. And it
that.
came out on 8-track cassette, and of course vinyl.
Yeah.
And I was at the post office a couple of days ago, and a clerk, a wonderful woman clerk, had my album from back then. Said, I'll bring it up here if you'll sign it. I said, well, of course, damn well, I'll sign it. And those were the days. It's so fun with vinyl. I mean, I did Bombay Tears with Mercury Records, so it was a worldwide release. And then a few years later, we did Boys Town, which was just an EP, meaning 4 songs. But I was able to, and we did the record in Los Angeles, and to go to the mastering. And I had seen some Joe Walsh albums and some Eagles albums. And they had these funny little right after the last song is over, before the needle goes off, you can scratch, and it's where the record label number is, but you can put in funny little things, little things.
Yeah.
And so look at a Joe Walsh album or almost any Eagles album, and there'll be something in there, a little message. So management, the ZZ Top company, had changed, had dropped Fools, which I was glad, and named it Dan Wilks, which just happens to be me. And so I scratched in Fools Live On. And every time somebody in Europe, I've had a lot of people bring up the album in Europe, so I always open it up and go, is that there? Was it that pressing? It's just something that meant a lot to me, to history, but fun little secret stuff that you don't want to be secret. You want everybody to know. But everybody check your Eagles records and your
Joe Walsh.
And I'm sure other groups have done it, but that's the two I know. So that's a funny little aside to, getting the opportunity to finally make a record that, excuse me, I'm going to give a carrot to Echo. Yeah. I wish you could see her. I'll try to lift her up in a minute.
Yeah.
But what an honor. And I'm glad I've had the opportunity to play on records. Eric Johnson and I did a version of Green Sleeves. The other title is What Child Is This? The Christmas song. We copied it from Jeff Beck's first album, but it's on a thing called the Austin Christmas Collection, which pretty hard to find, but sometimes on eBay you can find it.
Wow.
Then he played it with me at the Armadillo one night, and he played on a song called Vanitized, which Chris Layton from Double Trouble and Eric Johnson played on, and Dave Seabury. So I'm lucky that I've got to play with these guys. I played on the funniest thing I think I've ever done. There was a band called the Geese and Slaws, which was Sammy Allred, a big time DJ on KVET. Crusty, old Sammy Allred. And he had a band called the Geese and Slaws from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. They were a parody, funny, wacky, Grand Ole Opry kind of band. And they decided to do Led Zeppelin song, Stairway to Heaven. So they asked me to play guitar on it. But the kicker was Willie Nelson is singing it.
Oh.
So if I may, there's a lady who knows all that glitters is gold. I mean, it is beautiful. You can find it on YouTube.
Oh, that's cool.
Geese and Slaws doing Stairway to Heaven with Willie Nelson, and I'm playing all the guitar. And so that was a big honor. And then, of course, playing with Billy Gibbons and ZZ Top at the Montreux Jazz Festival. And I'm on their DVD. And it's the first time that they'd ever had other musicians play with them on stage.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I went to Switzerland as a civilian. I call it, when you're not working, you're a civilian.
Yeah.
To see them. And we're having lunch in Geneva. And Billy says, well, I want you to join us tonight. I said, well, I don't know. I may need to go buy some chocolate or something. I mean, I might be busy, which of course I was going, oh my God. And so it was Mike Flanagan on keyboards, which was already arranged, but I was just off the cuff. So the Montreux Jazz Festival is since 1969, the most famous festival in the world in Montreux, Switzerland.
Wow.
And just to go there is one thing, but to be on that stage, I'm getting shaky just thinking about it.
Highlight.
So we played 2 songs, and I'm on their DVD. You can, but you know what? They never paid me. Darn it.
Love dollars. They've paid you in love dollars and friendship.
I love dollars. I like that. So we got to do that, and then the last little brush, I call this brush with greatness story, is I lived on Elizabeth Street off of South Congress in the 70s, and Billy would always stay at my house, and it was a period where there were these drive-by shootings, which is really scary. But I came up with this thing called Drive-By Lover. And we came up with a little song, and then it laid to rest for 20 years, and 25 years. Then computers came in, so I transferred it from a cassette to I had these little 30-second vignettes of us playing. And you can hear a girl in the background going, Billy, give me some beer. You know, it's just, I mean, it's just crazy stuff. So I'm so glad I saved it. 5 or so years ago, maybe more, Billy called up and then ZZ Top is doing a new record with Rick Rubin, that famous producer.
Wow. Yeah.
We need a song. And do you remember when we were working on Drive By Lover, and I just happened to have what I call little 30-second vignettes. And thank God for digital stuff. I sent them to him, and an hour later, he said, whip up some lyrics, Van. And the cool thing for me is that Dusty sang it. And now Dusty Hill has died.
Yeah.
And he's singing all my lyrics. And I just die. So I decided to do it for my 21st Century Blues record. And Billy came out to this beautiful studio in the Hill Country that Chuck Farmer had, and Chuck and Dana Farmer, called Relentless Ranch. Just beautiful. And Billy came out, and his nickname is the Beast, and I saw it. I wanted him to produce me, but my God, smile when you sing, lean into that microphone. But anybody else, I would have gone, get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. Anyway, I had to throw that in because that was a major part of continuing on this thing that we started off this whole conversation with.
Yeah.
You're a child, you play.
Because you love it.
What an honor it is to try somehow, whatever it takes, keep it going.
Yeah.
And I hope that all these musicians I know will keep it going.
Yeah. And we are so glad that you keep it going, Van. And that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. It's such an honor to talk with you. Thank you for telling us all the stories and the candor and yeah.
It's fun. It's fun getting these awards. Like there's a Van Wilks Day in Austin, and I was honored for that. And a flag flown over the Capitol when we went to Moscow.
Yeah.
I keep waiting for that ticker tape parade for the Van Wilks Day in Austin. I think it's
what day? What day is
wall, November 9th.
It's coming up.
I think there will be finally a ticker tape parade.
No,
you know, that kind of stuff just, it made, when my parents were alive, it legitimized me quitting college and what I do. So, I mean, I'm making fun of all this stuff, but it's nice when your parents can go, okay,
I get it.
That guitar.
Yeah.
And that's what I think every day. Thank you, Daddy, for taking me down to the pawn shop in Lubbock, Texas, and buying me that Tulio guitar. That's what it was called.
Wow.
Anyway.
Wonderful. Van, thank you so much. I could talk to you for 3 hours. I just love all the stories. So you have to come back on after your tour and maybe after another album or something like that. We'll have you back.
Well, I'll bring some croissant.
Yes, please.
Croissant.
Some croissant. Oh,
well, thank you. You have some wonderful people on your show, and I'm proud to be in that pantheon of people that you have. Very
gosh,
honored.
I
Oh, stop.
Right back at you.
Echo, come on.
Echo, show us Echo.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, hey, buddy.
This is Echo.
Sweetheart.
Oh, okay. Last thing.
Mm-hmm.
We inherited Echo. Dave North, a great guitar player, Lisa North's son, inherited Echo when her owner decided to move back to England to be with his dad.
Mm.
Her dad is Dave Gilmour from Pink Floyd.
Oh.
This is the grand dog of Pink Floyd, and her name is Echo. You hear almost weekly when I'm teaching right here where I'm sitting, and I warn the students to not mention Roger Waters. But look at that face.
Sweet Echo. Echo Gilmour.
She got some snout time.
She did.
Earlier, she was in the trailer for hair and makeup, and
yes. Well, you know. All right. Well, that does it for this episode with the wonderful Van Wilks. We will see you guys next time. Van, thank you again for coming on.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, guys. We'll see you next time.
Have a great night and a better tomorrow.
Yes.
Get down the road.
But he said, get in the van.
Jump in the van.
Whatever.